As you've heard, since last night around midnight, Donald Trump is putting tariffs on majority of the 338, 50% tariffs. We had a conversation with the Prime Minister all day yesterday, right up to probably quarter to 12, 11:45 when he called me to tell me the news. And I've always said we need to fight these tariffs, tariff to tariff, dollar to dollar. And I'm glad he didn't sign that deal because it was a bad deal. It was a bad deal for Ontario. It was a bad deal for the auto sector, the steel sector, and manufacturing sector. And we never started this fight, but I can assure you, we're going to win this fight. We're going to be a United Team Canada. We're going to use every single tool we have here in Ontario, and hopefully the rest of the premiers feel the same way. We have to use every tool in our toolbox to make sure, as Donald Trump is trying to inflict pain on every Canadian, that we inflict pain right back until he realizes that we're his number one customer in the world. And yes, they're our number one customer. But we have to make sure that we look at every single asset that we have, no matter if it's the critical minerals or if it's a steel or if it's a nickel, anything that we have here in Ontario, everything's on the table.
How much pain do you think Ontario is willing to take? Because it will be painful, as you said.
Yeah, it will be painful, but we have a strong, vibrant, diversified economy. We're diversifying around the world. And I think the job numbers speak for itself. Last month, the federal government put out the job numbers. 70,000 jobs, 52,000 were here in Ontario over 4 months. Over 120,000 jobs. These are during uncertain times. You can't get these jobs even in certain times. Our plan is working. When I say our plan is working working with the federal government, with the 444 municipalities. We've seen over $236 billion of investment, and every single day, new investment is coming to Ontario. It's coming to Ontario because we created the climate with reducing taxes by $12 billion each and every year. We've cut red tape by $1.3 billion. And our number one selling feature, we have the brightest, smartest people anywhere in the entire world. We will compete against anyone, but I can assure you, we're going to continue creating more jobs. We're going to continue putting money into pockets of hardworking people and businesses. We've cut taxes by 32% on small businesses, but we're going to be there to support every community, every job right across our province.
Canada, you said Canada is going to have to use every
I'm sorry, you're next.
toolbox.
Yes.
What tools specifically will you be?
Well, I will, yeah, so I will be in the meeting this afternoon. I think it's shortly after 1 o'clock to be able to speak to the other premiers along with the Prime Minister. But my message to all the premiers, we need to stick together. We need to take a Team Canada approach, and everyone has to be in this fight. We can't have an outlier. We need a group of all premiers across the country to fight like they've never fought before.
Premier, there are thousands of people in this province who are waking up this morning and are worried about losing their jobs imminently. What do you say to those auto workers, the steel workers, and the lumber, people who don't know where their next paycheck's going to come from?
Well, I can assure those workers we're going to be there for them. We're going to be there to support our steel workers and our auto sectors, and that was the conversation all day yesterday and late last night with the Prime Minister. We need to support these sectors. We have to make sure that they're viable, not for the short term, but for the long term. And I am confident after speaking to CEOs of the auto sector, auto part manufacturers, Unifor, the unions, and the steel CEOs. And I just want to give a shout out, it's been incredible, Ron Bedard, from the CEO of Dofasco, the largest steel manufacturer in the country, that he's there. We're going to be there on Monday with other steel CEOs to tell them that we have their backs. We're going to support the workers. They're going to continue having great paying jobs. We are in a strong position, and we're going to continue bringing more jobs. We're going to have investors from around the world in 3 weeks here with $100 trillion of assets. Why are they picking Ontario? Because this is the greatest area, greatest jurisdiction anywhere in the entire world. They know they can invest. They're going to have a great return on their investment, and we've created the climate so more jobs are going to come. And we give people certainty and stability that they know they have a government that's going to continue creating more opportunities.
If the Prime Minister tells you to not put the American moves back to the LCBO, or like if he tells you something that you're not ready to do, or you wouldn't do it yourself, would you comply with him, or would you disagree on that?
Not unless we had a good deal that protects our manufacturing and our steel and our auto sector. That was my hang-up about this. I thought it was a terrible deal, and I was very clear with the Prime Minister. And once you make these deals, they could last for years and years and go into decades. And I wasn't prepared to put, steel workers and auto workers and look at them in the eye and give them uncertainty. I want to give them certainty that when we work together and we put political stripes aside, we cannot be stopped anywhere in the world.
Just on that point, Drew, can you explain a bit what in the deal you objected to so strongly? What precisely was?
Well, really, it was the steel and the auto.
So the 25%.
Yes, and they weren't budging on that.
Yeah.
I want to give credit to the Prime Minister. He was in a very difficult position, like we all are, but he stood up and he's protecting Canada. We're looking forward to the Prime Minister supporting these sectors that employ hundreds of thousands of people, not just here in Ontario, but across the country.
And on that, did you get any assurances from the Prime Minister about the things in your letter that was released this morning about the industrial carbon tax or the tailpipe emissions? Did you get any assurances that they're going to drop those in order to soften the blow?
Yeah, thank you for that. We're going to have further discussions on that. But you can't have rules in Ontario that don't apply in the U.S., and we're competing against the U.S. in those sectors. When it comes to clean energy, we are leading the world in clean energy, up over 90% clean. Our goal is to ultimately hit 100%. We're leading the world in nuclear, our small modular reactors. We lead the world when it comes to critical minerals. We have everything here in Ontario to continue thriving and prospering. We're going to be investing over $200 billion in building out our nuclear and the energy that the U.S. needs, but not just the U.S. When it comes to small modular reactors, everyone's in line for us to build a small modular reactor for them. So we have a strong economy. We're going to keep going.
Premier, was it a bad deal all the way through, or were there points during the negotiations as you were getting updates from the Prime Minister where you thought maybe Canada could get a good deal?
Well, I was getting updates from the Prime Minister, but I was also getting updates from all the CEOs of the auto sector saying it's a bad deal. I was getting information from Lana Payne, the president of Unifor, bad deal. Auto part manufacturers, bad deal. Steel CEOs, bad deal. And when I listen to the experts in the sectors, it's a bad deal. And I'm glad that the Prime Minister listened, and we're going to be united. We're a Team Canada approach, and we're going to fight with everything we have. We're going to win this economic war, and hopefully we'll get this finished as quickly as possible.
Last question. Interprovincial trade.
I apologize.
Interprovincial trade, Premier. Do you have any MOUs? Are you eyeing any other MOUs with any other provinces before the ones you are moving forward?
Yeah, so we've signed MOUs with 10 provinces and territories. That will apply to about $200 billion to our GDP in economic development. It's going to increase our GDP anywhere from 4 to 6%. Folks, we have everything we need to make sure that we thrive and we prosper. So I'm very confident we're going to come out on top. There's going to be a few bumps in the road, but when we stick together, no one can stop us. I just want to thank you. I got to run. Yes, we'll be talking to all the provinces. One more, sorry.
Beatrice's question there. So you were of the opinion that the deal was bad on Wednesday. The Prime Minister has said that the deal got worse in the last minutes,
and it did get worse. Yeah,
but you were
did.
opposed on Wednesday as well?
Yeah, I was opposed. It just wasn't a good deal. But
you were ready to not lift the LCBO ban, for example, on Wednesday?
No, I wasn't, but I'm glad. This is very complicated. And again, I'm going to give the Prime Minister credit one more time. It's very complicated, folks. And, President Trump, he can't be trusted. Simple as that. He changes the deal. He keeps moving the goalpost. Let me tell you about President Trump. President Trump is the type of person that would steal your lunch money the first day. He'd steal the toque off your head the second day, and the third day he'd steal your running shoes. He is not to be trusted whatsoever. We need to stay united. But folks, I have to run to the meeting.
Have you heard from any of the governors?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard from any of the governors that you've been working with
Yes.
for the last year and a half? How are they
Yeah,
reacting?
and that's what I feel bad, because there's a lot of Governor, there's a lot of American people that are going to get hurt that actually support Canada, and they don't support attacking their closest ally and friends. But if you look at the numbers, folks, President Trump numbers are down. He ran on creating jobs. We created more jobs than all 350 million people in the U.S. combined last month, just Ontario alone. Inflation's going up, cost of goods are going up, and I'll tell you the reason they're going up. Because he's attacking his closest ally, his number one customer. You notice cost of housing is going up because 1/3 of the lumber they use to build homes comes from Canada. So if you want to keep attacking and tariffing Canada, a tariff on Canada is nothing more than a tax on the great American people. And the American people are great. Not so much for the president, but we'll keep going. Folks, I got to get online with the Prime Minister. I want to thank you. Stay strong, and we'll win this battle. Thank you.